This is Jocko Podcast number 54 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. You got some Shakespeare right there. You got some Henry IV, part 2. And that play is a play that came just prior to Henry V, the hero, the warrior, the leader of that few, that happy few, that band of brothers. Well, his dad, Henry IV, was having a rough time in the kingdom, facing rebellion. And there's a point in the play where the old man, Henry IV, he can't sleep. Can't sleep because of the pressure and the weight of being a leader. And it's a great chunk of the play. And it starts with that line. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. And actually doesn't start with that line. That's the last line. It starts off a little different. It starts off here. How many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? So he's saying, hey, out there, there's thousands and thousands of my subjects. They're out there sleeping right now. Oh, sleep, oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse. How have I frightened thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness. So he's talking to sleep. Sleep is like a god to him at this point. And he's saying, what did I do to scare you off? What did I do? How come you won't bring me that goodness? Way down my eyes. Going back, why rather sleep? Liest thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber? Then in perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody. So he's asking sleep. He's saying, look, sleep, you're there hanging out in these smoky, filthy houses and hovels, and people are sleeping on boards. And to lull people to sleep in those situations, it's insects buzzing around their heads. Sleep's all there, taking care of those people. But sleep doesn't come to him in the most beautiful, in the most luxurious estate rooms where there's little gentle music playing. No bugs flying around. It's little gentle music playing. Back to the play. O thou dull God, why liest thou with the vile in lonesome beds, and leavest thy kingly couch a watch case or a common larum bell? So same subject. He's saying, look, why do you dull God? So dull meaning sleeping, dull. Why are you hanging around the nastiest beds, but this beautiful bed, you don't come near it. You leave it vacant like a watchtower, like a bell tower. Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship boy's eyes? So now he start talking about even a sailor at sea, high up on a mast, right? A giddy mast. You seal up the ship boy's eyes and rock his brains in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of winds who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamor in the slippery clouds that with the hurly death itself awakes. So he's saying this sailor, there's a sailor at sea who's getting punished by this storm, and the thunder is clapping, and the ship is bounding back and forth. But guess what? He gets to fall asleep. He goes to sleep, no problem. Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? So he's saying, again, in an hour so rude, storms, mayhem at sea, he gives the sailor sleep. But in this calmest and most stillest night, with every available luxury to boot, yet sleep is denied to the king. And then he says, then happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. So then happy low, lie down. He's saying, look, low, by low, he means the peasants. He's like, all right then, you happy low, you peasants, lie down, sleep. That's what you get. But uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. The leader doesn't get to rest.